Hello, everybody. We're live from Los Angeles with very exciting news. This is your host, Young Brando, and we are going to talk about upcoming. We're going to talk about the upcoming AP 150 release. They have a new RD novelty coming our way, celebrating the 150th anniversary of the manufacture. And Rob Report made a doo-doo a few days back, and the images that leaked have already been making the rounds, but I have been able to tap into the resource, and I will be able to talk to you about what actually makes the new release, what are the distinctive things about it, beyond just the particular combination of the chronograph and the tourbillon, those two complications, which of course have a history in AP's catalog, going all the way back to the 30th anniversary of the Royal Oak itself. And we're going to talk about that. This is a very different approach, though, and it's something to be celebrated. I have previously talked about the Tourbillon chronograph in the Royal Oak case as one of my favorite watches ever made by AP. And the only shortcoming that I could find about it, the only complaint I had about it, was literally the case size and the dimensions, and they took care of it all with this new release. But let's go right into it. I will pull up the picture, which you may have already seen, but the way I will talk about it is obviously going to be very different, much more nuanced, and obviously full of historical and horological detail. Now, what you see here is quite literally Audemars Piguet Royal Oak RD #5. So this is the latest novelty within the research and development series. The very last release was the RD4, the Code 1159 Universel, which was an ultra complicated watch that was offered in the Code 1159 case, and that was actually very well received to the extent that it won the GPHG, the Aiguille d'Or, in the Grand Prix d'Horlogerie de Genève in that particular year. That was about 2 years ago. Now, of course, AP is celebrating the 150th anniversary of the manufacture, and one of the distinctive marks of this particular release, of course, has something to do with that, and that is aesthetically marked, that is inscribed at 12 o'clock with a very with a signature that is at once maximalist and minimalist. We don't see the double branding that we have gotten used to with many AP releases, but there has been a shift towards just focusing on the signature. And, you know, AP had that actually in their marketing material decades ago, you know, the most prestigious of signatures or most prestigious of horological signatures or something like that. So it feels just right that they would put that front and center. And in this case, of course, like many 150th anniversary exclusive releases and the limited first runs of watches, they have rendered that script italicized in cursive and with a beautiful throwback font. We also see that the watch is has a dial that's a petite tapisserie dial, which immediately makes us think that this is quote unquote a jumbo, the 39 millimeter case size that they have made for quite a while now, exclusive to these sorts of special releases, including the current generation of the Jumbo 16202, but also, for example, in pieces like the RD number 3, right, which in a way is also a precursor to this release. The RD3 was the self-winding flying tourbillon, which is one of the complications in this watch, rendered, executed in a 39 millimeter jumbo extra thin case. That was released as 26670. It did have a petite tapisserie dial with Bleu Nuit Nuage 50, the classic Royal Oak blue dial that has been a feature, a distinctive signature of the design since its origination in 1972 with Jarre Argenta's original conception. So that is our second hint. That watch, the RD3, was, however, released in stainless steel. Here we have a piece that is actually in a different combination of metals. And for that, we merely have to focus right here. Now, we have already gotten a sense of the case dimensions and of the sleek and slim profile of the case from that side view. Now, when we focus on the bezel that frames the exhibition case back, we see two words, Titan and PD 500. Now, Titan is pretty self-explanatory. That's the French word for titanium. PD 500 is a little more confusing, perhaps, at first glance. Of course, PD stands for palladium, and 500 refers to the percentage of palladium in that particular alloy. However, AP itself does not actually call this alloy palladium or anything else but bulk metallic glass. This is the combination of materials. This is the conjugation of two different metals in a tone-on-tone expression that they have already used in a jumbo extra thin, in the 16202 XT in short. And when you see a case back picture of that piece right here, you'll see it says Titan for titanium and PD 500 for BMG, which is what they call bulk metallic glass. And it is, in fact, an alloy of 50% palladium and 50% other metals. And it is, again, a combination that they have used with the Royal Oak, specifically in this particular extra thin jumbo release, the 16202 XT. So in fact, the only thing I can't really give you at this point from the whole leak is the exact serial number. Beyond that, we have everything down, and we have just started. I have just begun to talk about this piece. Now we go back to the first look, to the originally leaked image. We can say that in large part, the case and integrated bracelet of the watch in that classic finish of contrasting satin brushed and mirror polished surfaces is rendered in titanium with the octagonal bezel, the tapering interlinks of the bracelet, pardon me, and seemingly also the pushers, the chronograph pushers, are rendered in BMG, in bulk metallic glass, AP's own alloy of 50% palladium, 50% mixed metals. We know from RD3 already that flying tourbillon has a cage that is rendered in titanium. And in fact, it has a lighter and thinner escapement, which of course grants this watch both some extra reliability, shock resistance, and energy management. The movement here is the caliber 8100, and it is altogether nearly 4 millimeters in thickness, even though it is made out of 379 individual components and has a jewel count of 44. Now, we are not yet done. Going back to the pushers, they're actually not only an aesthetic departure from the usual pushers that you see on a Royal Oak chronograph, they actually mark a technical difference as well. So it's not just an aesthetic change. Those pushers usually take after the shape of the crown, whereas here the pushers take after the rectangular shape of the interlinks, and they are in fact light touch pushers. And I will read a little bit from the article here. Clearly, they have had in mind something that responds to the technical age, the era of the smartphone, and apparently they were aiming at a similar tactile feel of a smartphone. Of course, we're not talking about the touch screens here, but maybe the feel, the operating experience is closer to the buttons on the side of your iPhone that you use to adjust the volume, right? Ever since the 1970s, developments in serial production and waterproofing of chronographs meant that the force required to engage a chronograph pusher increased to roughly 1.5 kilogram along at travel, right? And this is the term for the distance the button has to move. And you will see of 1 millimeter or more. And you'll see already that those rectangular pushers, compared to the earlier Royal Oak chronograph pushers, which more or less look like the crown or have a similar look to the crown, this in fact shortens that distance to move, and the shape, it doesn't only look like the interlinks of the bracelet, it also looks like those volume buttons on the side of your iPhone. It's quite remarkable. So in fact, the shape of the chronograph pushers, we realize, is not only an aesthetic change, but in fact something that AP quietly worked on to implement something that requires basically a fifth of the force that their usual chronographs require to engage the chronograph, to push the button. Gillo Papi, AP's director of watchmaking and design, watchmaking design rather, aimed to reduce the figure to just 300 grams of force. So from 1,500 to 300 grams of force along a travel of 0.3 millimeters, which again is about the same amount of pressure that you require to adjust the volume of an iPhone. Now, you know, certain mechanical aficionados, and that group might include me. I have not actually engaged hands-on with this chronograph, so I can't tell for sure. You might miss that particular haptic feel of a chronograph button. Like Alange und Söhne is very famous in implementing specifically that kind of feel for their pushers, whether we're talking about date correctors or chronograph pushers. This is going in the opposite direction. This is going, in fact, in a direction that's diametrically opposite. Now we are actually going back to the movement to talk about it in detail. Because it is a very special movement indeed. We have barely scratched the surface, and as you can see, there are already so many interesting details. Of course, the case back, we have already marveled. It gave us the combination of materials that was used, titanium and BMG, titanium and bulk metallic glass. It has the 150th anniversary logo, and it marks this edition as one of 150 pieces, meaning that this is, in essence, a limited edition. But don't fret. Think of the previous RD3, which has directly translated into the product line, right, where you have a 41 millimeter extra thin tourbillon, for example, which is 26,530, for example, is a good instance of that. You also have a 37 millimeter version of that same self-winding flying tourbillon movement, ultra-thin movement, in 37 millimeters, and that is the 26,660, right? So you had first the 26,670, which was the RD3, Research and Development Chapter 3, the classic jumbo extra thin tourbillon. But as part of the 50th anniversary release cycle, which was only 3 years back, 2022, you got also the 41 millimeter version of that. And then you got, before the year even ended, the 37 millimeter version of that. So even though this is a limited edition, it is going to have a wide-ranging effect on the rest of the AP catalog. it is in fact going to have different versions of it soon enough, maybe not before the end of the year, but certainly within the next year or two, you will have different iterations of this movement within the catalog. And you can even say the same thing about the l'Universel, right? In the sense that you have the new perpetual calendar movement that was a research development out of that attempt to produce an ultra complicated watch. Captain Kirk, no, they have not changed their logo to the cursive. That is something that they have used either exclusively limited editions, right? You know, where the run is exactly 150 pieces, or releases that they have made on the 150th anniversary. They have cursive for the first 150 examples, like the new 38 millimeter perpetual calendars is a great example of the latter. The earlier 150th anniversary open-worked perpetual calendar is a great example of the former, right? You know, where you have a limited edition to 150 pieces, you have the cursive, and then you have, for example, the new series of 38 millimeter Royal Oak perpetual calendars, which have the cursive script only for the first 150 examples, after which it switches back to the serif font. So this movement, even though, again, it uses the titanium cage and the modern escapement of the RD3, is a thing of its own. It is not only self-winding, it is not only an automatic movement, it also bears a peripheral rotor. Its oscillating weight basically travels around the base of the movement, which has, pardon me, two benefits, of course. One, since we are at the same level as the base plates of the movement, which, as you see here, are open worked, you have the ability to make the movement that much thinner. And we did say the movement altogether is only 4 millimeters in thickness. And of course, the extra joy we get from this is the full view of the movement, of the chronograph movement. And that's also thanks, of course, to the open worked bridges as well, which is here a very modern treatment and has this kind of shades of gray element to it, which gives it a sense of depth and an intensified three-dimensionality, right? You know, you have the at the base kind of an anthracite gray color, whereas the open work bridges are satinized against that seemingly media blasted base of the movement. Another thing I want to add here, since I have mentioned the legacy of this complication, I want to quickly show you what AP had in 2003. This was the reference 25977 stainless steel. The Royal Oak Tourbillon chronograph that was released on the 30th anniversary of the design, of the Gerald Genta design in 2003. I've already mentioned that it was, however, 44 millimeters in diameter. And it was almost 13 millimeters in thickness. Whereas here, you probably have you have a movement that's about 4 millimeters in thickness, and probably a watch that is somewhere around 9 to 10 millimeters in thickness, I would say. Can be even closer to 9 than 10, but keep in mind that the Tourbillon RD3 was 8.1, and you have a chronograph movement on top of that. However, you also have a peripheral rotor rather than a full rotor. Here, the movement was actually the legacy caliber, a movement that we know elsewhere as CH27, Lemania, Omega 321, or Lemania 2220, which here is combined with Tourbillon. This is the legacy of this particular combination of complications for AP in a Royal Oak cage. But what they have cooked up with this new release is much more impressive, a much lighter titanium tourbillon cage, a flying tourbillon, meaning that it offers you, in fact, a more unimpeded aesthetic enjoyment of the revolution. It's much harder to execute a flying tourbillon where you don't have that front bridge. Hi, Oz. Nice to see you, man. Please hit the like button, guys. I put a lot of work into this, both in terms of delving into the historical research, but also trying to enrich this. Now, I'm not going to derail our conversation too much away from this particular piece, but you know, when it comes to the particular combination of a self-winding chronograph and flying tourbillon, they already had, for example, a code 1159 this way. But once again, this is not a repeat movement. This is a new research and development watch that gives us something entirely new. The caliber 8100 is new and so far exclusive about this release. So an entirely new movement that promises further developments along similar lines. And obviously, future releases, if and when they happen, probably won't have the same combination of materials. So the titanium BMG, titanium bulk metallic glass, might remain exclusive to this 150-piece limited run. But expect to see non-jumbo versions of this chronograph tourbillon in different parts of the Audemars Piguet catalog and in different Royal Oak cases, be it 37 millimeter or 41 millimeter, as we have seen previously. Now, the caliber 8100 also has a new reset mechanism, right? So it's not only the lighter touch of the pushers, but the reset mechanism itself that is reimagined. And titanium, again, is not only an aesthetic aspect of this watch and the source of its lightweight nature. Instead of the typical hammer and heart shaped reset system, this employs a patented rack and pinion design for the resets. The energy stored in the rack is used to return the titanium chronograph hand to zero in a near instantaneous retrograde motion when you reset it. So we figure that, in fact, the chronograph hand that we were looking at earlier from the side view, from the profile view, that hand is actually this very slender hand that is stacked above the RM minute hands. The centrally deployed chronograph hand is from titanium, and thanks to a new reset mechanism that uses a rack and pinion design rather than a heart-shaped system, it's almost an instantaneous retrograde mission and motion where you reset the seconds. The chronograph minutes that you already see here as well at 9 o'clock here, roughly speaking, that has an instantaneous jump at the top of each minute. And of course, like AP's, like many other examples of the self-winding chronograph in AP's modern line, it has a flyback function. So in fact, the pusher you have at about 4 o'clock is your flyback/reset button. You use the pusher at 2 o'clock to start. You don't have to then stop, reset, and start, but you can simply press the pusher at 4 o'clock for that instantaneous, almost instantaneous reset mechanism with the titanium chronograph hand, and the chronograph will continue, which will help you time 2 events in quick succession, right? That's the joy, and that's the functionality of a flyback chronograph. We mentioned already that the flying tourbillon features the high amplitude titanium cage mechanism with the lighter and thinner escapement that they previously used in the RD number 3 from 2022. And everything is kept at 4 millimeters of thickness. That's just the movement. I'm assuming the thickness of the watch overall is probably around 9 millimeters. And going back also again to the aesthetics of the watch, we can immediately recognize that this is a jumbo, 39 millimeters in diameter, with a petite tapisserie dial, which is a throwback to the original 1972 Bleu Nuit Nuage 50. Cursive script, which marks it as a 150th anniversary release. Bathtub style hands and markers, which again ties it back to the original jumbo aesthetic. But of course, you have the titanium tourbillon cage at 6, a 12-hour counter at 3, and at 9 o'clock, a 30-minute totalizer with a special titanium centrally deployed chronograph hand, which in combination with the light touch chronograph pushers announces and embodies a quick reset mechanism that uses a rack and pinion system instead of a heart-shaped can. Amazing. So titanium, bulk metallic glass, Audemars Piguet, Royal Oak, Chronograph Tourbillon RD number 5. It is going to be 150 pieces of a limited edition. And it announces not only a single novelty, a single new release, but a number of developments that we might see soon enough in the rest of the AP catalog. Titanium tourbillon cage, the rack and pinion system for the zero reset mechanism, open worked chronograph bridge, a new movement caliber 8100, something quite worthy and something that puts us back to the horological conversation again. That's for me it in terms of my own discussion. Oz is in the chat, so I will want him to jump onto the panel if he so wishes. We had a very humble goal of 5 super chats of $5 or more, which I guess no one paid attention to. It's my mistake. I didn't remind you. But any contributions to the channel would be much appreciated. If you want to show your appreciation in other ways, I outline some possibilities in the video description. And then, of course, we have all the other ways that YouTube provides you, and getting a membership or gifting memberships to others is a great way to sustainably support the channel in a long-term manner, where you will enable me to do more of this kind of investigative work that, as you can see, goes well in depth of everyone else and everything else that you can see out there. Nothing even comes close. While I wait my interlocutor, my collaborator, Aussie expat, let me do part of my victory lap. I'll just give you what I posted in the story. There we go. Let's go all the way back. I'll share that. This is it, guys. In the last 90 days, I had 15.5 million views, and only less than a fourth, only 24.2% of that actually came from my followers, 75.8 from non-followers, which means that the channel has a lot of room to grow. And I reached in those 3 months more than 2 million different accounts, and that's actually less than that. That's me on the decline. So it's very flattering to see this kind of result, and it is only really the final product of hard work and consistency. And this is a run that I've been on Instagram for almost 10 months now. It's going to be a whole year in November, and by then I have some other content ideas that will enrich the usual format. I will give you just a glimpse again of what I've been working on. Of course, we were looking, and you can go back to this episode. I was commenting with Oz on this new interview that the Gstaad guy posted on his podcast with the current AP CEO, Ilaria Resta. So we can perhaps say a few things about the recent developments. And she was wearing also a piece that was introduced on the 150th anniversary, the Sand Gold AP Perpetual Calendar. And as you see, for example, the one I located elsewhere has the cursive script, right? This was one of the first 150 examples. The one on her wrist, from the different angles I could see it, did not actually have the cursive script. And, that makes sense. Hey.
Hey, young Brando. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well, man. How you been?
Good, good. It's been a very easy Friday.
Yeah.
Since I've already handed in my resignation, I'm not afraid to say how much or how little I've worked, but I worked very little today.
Okay. Yeah.
I did a couple things for a couple people in the first hour of the day, and then I'm like, I'm off.
All right. So I removed the previous goal. I will just ask you, should we try the special unboxing tonight, or?
I already did it on Archie's, so I
Oh,
don't
you
know if you
did?
want to try running it again. It's up to
No,
you.
no. Then no. We will just take a look at the
We'll
watch.
just take a look. Yeah. OC was asking earlier, but I told him my wife's wearing it, so I can't.
Is
I
she
can't.
wearing it still?
Yeah, she was wearing it this evening, making some milkshakes in her pajamas for the kids.
That seems to be the occasion to wear a pink gold watch.
Yeah, hold on.
Integrated bracelet.
There we go. Let's see. It's perfect. Perfect for, evening duties with the Landwell.
Amazing.
Will Rolex be upset? You know,
No, no. I mean, that.
you sold it to a mum and dad. It's kind of that simple.
At the end of the day, again, they are trying to do different things, obviously, within the lineup. Replacing the Cellini with first 1908 Perpetual, and in a way, you can think aesthetically, you can think of the Land Dweller series as distant enough from the Rolex Professional that it is filling another gap in there. So yeah, they are perhaps seeing it as something that's not as utilitarian, that's not as everyday, but I think it still can cope with
It's
a lot. No.
it's slightly more versatile than the Gold Daytona is what I give it. So here we go. My webcam actually focused. There we go.
Ah, Yeah, fuck. It looks so good.
Yeah, in gold, it's very special. Like between steel and gold, like yeah, the steel is another step up. I don't think I've seen the platinum. I'll have to go back and look through my photos, but yeah, it's it's gorgeous. Very
Yeah,
thin. I
it's a
mean,
great,
this is
great looking
36
watch.
millimeters, so yeah. So this is quite thin. It's thinner than a Datejust, which I do have here actually. Let's have
Wait,
a look.
is the thickness from 36 to 40 in the land dweller different from each other?
No. I'm just saying that if people are sort of not really understanding that it's thin, like if in their mind they're looking at a 40 millimeter, the proportions don't look that thin,
Yeah.
but they are thin. Like it does look.
Oh, wait. Once again. So on the
So
left you have the land dweller 36, and on the right you have a Datejust
yeah,
36.
it's noticeably thinner,
That's a
and
Palm France, the Datejust.
yeah, this is the palm front. Oh, so someone on Discord, their girlfriend actually has a palm front as well. I was very shocked to see or hear of someone who has this one. This was
Mm.
quite rare. She definitely got it a lot earlier than we did. But yeah,
No, you know that at the end of the day, people have turned this into a caricature, right? Imagining that everything that is rare and quickly discontinued will somehow become collectible. But if you look at the long durée of Rolex collecting,
hmm
there are these oddballs, in terms of releases that come out, and without many people actually realizing or catching the hype, they get discontinued in 2 to 3 years, right? Palm fronts would be one example of that. Yesterday, we were talking about another example, Yachtmaster 42 with the Falcon's Eye dial, right? It doesn't even
hmm
carry that much of a premium on the secondary market now, but maybe 10, 15 years later, people will realize how it was a blip in history that it was actually in the catalog as an option,
yeah.
and it was ordered in such sparing numbers that probably doesn't exist in so many examples compared to a Rolex watch, especially. And
I think the Falcons I like. It's definitely like that. It's similar to the palm fronds because the palm fronds it was like 2.5 years, but it was absolutely not available in the first year. Like it was not available in that first year that was Watch and Wonders. It was only in the following year that the first ones eventually came out, which is crazy. It's just a dial. They literally had a brand new watch, all up and down, the Explorer 36, available the month after Watches and Wonders, but a new dial on the date just took another year.
yeah,
So
and you know, the, that's it. Like Falcon's Eye was introduced in Watches and Wonders in 2002, and then it was discontinued this year. So technically, it's only been there in
3 years, yeah.
3 years as a relatively obscure option for the Yachtmaster 42 in white gold, and only in that configuration.
Let me pull out the date just because I know that like they said it, so I'm not a discoverer of it. But the Jubilee, the fluted bezel is actually different than the date
Yeah,
just, but it's subtle, of
we were
course. No
talking
one
about
would.
it in behind the scenes last night after the show.
So let me get that the right way around.
It seems that there are less ridges, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the number of facets to the Jubilee on the Land Dweller is less than the date just. How much less? I don't know, like 30%, something like that. I couldn't truly say if it's half. Maybe it's half.
Hmm.
I think it comes down to some proportionality between the flat links of the bracelet versus the number of links on a Jubilee on the date just. I think is there must be some relationship in the design there. Or maybe it's the height, that there's a rehort and everything that's different. So interestingly, is obviously the Land Dweller has a rehort that's very different compared to any other Rolex. In fact, is there any other Rolex that doesn't have a rehort like this? They all have a rehort like that, right?
Yeah, they do. They all do, I think. I mean, unless I'm
Yeah,
even the 1908 Perpetual does, no?
I think so. Like I don't remember like looking at the 1908 and thinking, oh, that's definitely got a different rehort. Might have to double check. I mean, maybe the Deep Sea looks different. So it means that there's no serial number on the bottom on the face, which means it's easy for Instagram and not having scallywags register watches as stolen. Yeah. So they actually do the Tudor thing, and they put
Hmm.
the serial number on the underside on one of the lugs, which is, it's not just a Tudor thing. I mean, I think that's where Omega puts theirs as well. So yeah, and a nice properly sized crown, so not larger than the mid case.
Hmm.
So it is quite a small crown, which is good because I remember someone with a similar watch. They said the crown was too big, and I likely agreed. But yeah, very tastefully designed crown. No odd stuff happening there. The flanks of this are particularly nice. You know, they're not
Hmm.
quite slab-sided, but they're also elegant. And then the chamfering just sort of just makes it all pop. So very, very, very beautiful piece. And I dare say relatively versatile, at least compared to say a Daytona. Yeah. So my wife thinks this is a lot better than a Daytona, which I wasn't too willing for her to admit. As it's like I paid a lot of money for that Daytona. It's like,
Well, I mean, she's. It's not like she's
no, I'm glad she's happy.
playing
So you're not
favorites
that happy, okay?
with her kids, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's not like, oh, I don't like the old one anymore. It's like, what? I don't know. I don't know. We got into this, so you could say the old one sucks, but I don't know.
She's completely entitled to have her pick, because by now she has an actual collection. It's not
Yeah,
just two or three watches. So,
yeah, yeah. It's quite a lot of
and
Rolex.
I mean, right now I'm just saying this to take a shot at you,
Yeah,
but arguably it might be a better collection than yours.
that would not be difficult to have achieved.
It's certainly more diverse.
So
It
I
has
have
actually
decided that the
it's
next
actually watches that are different from each other rather than all oyster perpetuals with different bezel colors
right,
and dial colors, right?
kinda. So yeah, I have decided that the next video will be, a pickup video of this thing, and maybe take some video of my wife playing piano and enjoying it a little
Nice.
bit. And then a watch collection video of hers, because I've never done that. I've done a state of the collection, but it's never included her watches and,
Well, if you
or at least
can
in
if you
its
can
entirety.
use that to ease in Mrs. Expat into being on camera on your watch channel,
Yeah,
maybe you can even have a head-to-head comparison of your collections, which will certify that she will win.
yeah.
She has a better collection.
I think what that will successfully do, but honestly, I think my wife's collection is interesting to men. There's a
Yeah.
lot of watches that have counterparts in men's versions, and they're all how do we say, collectible.
And there are
They're all
others
collectible.
that men would love to have
Yes.
and wear as well, like anything from the Datejust 36 to the pink gold Daytona
Mm.
to the Land Dweller 36. I mean,
Yeah.
I've already had on my Instagram a celebrity who was wearing the 36 millimeter
Wow.
version, man.
Nice.
So
Very nice. So yeah, I think it'll be a very interesting video. If if I know how to make it. Um, I have no production value. I should seek help. I'll be retired soon, so I may as well put some effort into such things. This,
Yeah, I honestly, I mean, I think on YouTube it matters much more,
mhm.
production value. But I think, pardon me, nothing. I'm not saying this as someone stupidly hopeful, but ultimately, nothing beats the substance of the content
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and honestly, there are watch collecting couple accounts on Instagram, and I'm sure there are people who do videos on YouTube too. But I haven't seen a lot, and I
No,
and if
most don't
they
have collections full stop. I mean,
yeah.
people in general. It's like there's not a lot of people who actually have collections. There's a lot of people who watch channels. Many of them don't have a collection, or at least they don't have a collection of Rolex.
Right.
And
So
that's fair. That's fine. It's fair enough. But I still see that as my only strength is that I actually own these pieces. I'm not a dealer, and I'm just flipping them around and that sort of thing. I can
well, I
tell someone
mean,
else is
also
just
unlike many other watch channels and supposed experts, you can string two sentences together. You have an analytical mind. Those are those are advantages as well. Most of these people are like really low IQ people, so it's not it's not that hard to rise above. To be honest,
yeah.
you
The
just
other
have
one
to
I've got
put some effort
home at the
into it.
moment is the Yachtmaster 37 in rose gold.
That's it.
I've always very much enjoyed the idea that it's all matte black, black dial, black ceramic
Black, black,
bezel,
black.
and black. It's just all the way through, and it just happens to be a gold Rolex as well. It's very low key, but
Submariner 2.0.
yeah,
At least in
and
40, you can certainly make that argument.
yeah, and then getting Yachtmaster of red text. Anytime you get red text on a diver, I mean that's the money shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
You get
is.
red
It really
text.
is.
It's an obvious and throwback to the red text submariners. So I like what they communicate in this watch a lot. I think this is a very uncompromised design. When I see the other watches in Oysterflex, they all seem slapped on in some way.
Mhm.
Like with the Daytona, they have to add the end links, the fake end links to sort of make it more cohesive. Or the what is it? Sky Dweller is the other one. I haven't really looked at that honestly. So I think that like the Yachtmaster and its Oysterflex, it was designed for this watch. I mean, it was the first watch with Oysterflex. So
That's true. The Yachtmaster Pink Gold was the first introduction of the Oyster Flex,
yeah,
for
and
sure.
and and you can see like, oh, what would go well if you went with black, black ceramic dial and black matte, sorry, matte dial and black ceramic matte. Clearly you can't have just slap on another gold bracelet. It kind of called for what was here. Whether that was the order of things, who knows? But
Well, I
it's
mean,
certainly
they
cohesive.
have certainly used the similar interchange or interplace of um, the black Cerachrome bezel and the end link, and then the
Right.
black Flex bracelet. It's going to be, again, Rolex at its glacial pace. Everything's a revolution, right? Now that they have the so-called giraffe, right, the off-catalog Daytona that started appearing on celebrity wrists,
Mm-hmm.
that has a kind of like a chocolate brown oyster flex,
Mm-hmm.
which means eventually somewhere else different colors may pop up. But yeah, of course, I think that was an intentional design element, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they have used previously other kinds of materials for Yachtmaster bezels, including platinum, for example, um, in combination with platinum dial, right? So you are on the right path there. That uh, even if there's not a material match between the dial and the bezel insert, there's certainly the attention to a certain matching, like between the matte black dial and here the ceramic bezel.
Mhm.
And then, jumping that to this as a ring, of course, already, like unlike the first generation of ceramic bezel, Cerachrome bezel Daytonas. And then you have the end link, and then you have the Oyster Flex, which is also a matte black creature, the Oyster Flex bracelet.
What I don't like is having lots of different types of black on the same watch. So if you go to like the Submariner, it's cohesive because it has a glossy black ceramic bezel with a glossy black dial.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan where the blacks are mixed up.
And what would be the example of that?
Well, basically all the Oyster Flex Daytonas where the ceramic is
Yeah.
hyper gloss and the bracelet is not, and then the dials are sometimes matte, sometimes lacquer as well. So it's
That's true.
to me it's not as perfect as the Opmaster. But I wouldn't say no to an Oyster Flex Daytona. I've never asked for one actually, but
That's the blessing and curse of being the flagship model, right? In the sense that, of course, when day date was really the day date, the Rolex Presidential and whatever else. Of course, you had the classic champagne dial, yellow gold. That's it. That's the only one that matters. But that was also their canvas of slapping on anything and everything that was exclusive, right? Different styles of gem setting, stone dials, even wooden dials in the past. So with Daytona, now you have that blessing and the curse. You have so many different variations that you can build entire collection out of Daytonas without having much repeat. But that also means there's no cohesion. There are pieces that have outer rings on the chronograph registers, that there are other releases that have full chronograph registers, like the John Mayer 2.0 champagne chronograph register against green dial now, whereas the platinum Daytona is maroon rings against. So there's no cohesion whatsoever, just because there are so many options.
Yeah, I think in general I prefer the rings, but I like the John Mayer 2 over the John Mayer 1. There's something about having more character of those full gold rings that is less obvious than the full, the previous generation with a lot of green. So yeah, I don't know. I find myself mixed on it. In general, I like the rings. The new turquoise Oyster Flex yellow gold is obviously an interesting one. A lot of people love that, and I think it's a good release. It's not for me. I definitely don't like this, but I can totally understand everyone who would love it.
Even when Rusty is wearing one, Russell Crowe has one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. As long as whatever it takes to get him from stopping, from not wearing his Pateks, I'm all for.
So here's Lautaro Martinez with the John Mayer 2 and the World Cup, as it happens. Before that, it was Carlos Alcaraz with turquoise, yellow, gold, and oyster flex. And then good old Rusty he was at Wimbledon with that watch. So let me just scroll down a little bit. I'll get there. Yeah, we're almost there.
Got some tennis shots. Yeah, there he is. Up with his wife.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Damn.
Brittany Thiriet. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Although I'm always, tempted to say the Riot, but I'm sure that's not how you pronounce the last name.
I wonder why he chose to wear a full suit to this. Is that
Sponsorship reasons,
is that
possibly.
how he rolls normally? I'm not objecting. I'm just it seems like a place to have fun, Wimbledon.
Well, a place to have fun in the sense that people usually try to, at least in the later editions, like in the
Yeah,
recent editions of it, people make an effort to dress like in a quasi formal way.
interesting.
Um, Ralph
Because
Lauren,
it's quite a party atmosphere at Wimbledon. Like
yeah,
strawberries and cream, and
yeah.
hopefully some good weather in London.
Ralph Lauren, I think, just celebrated 20 years of sponsoring, and a lot of times they
Wow.
actually dress the celebrities for the event. And seeing a tartan tie, which obviously, I mean, Russell Crowe might have the good taste to choose that himself,
Hmm.
but that's like a very Ralph detail to me. So chances are
Hmm.
Ralph Lauren may have dressed him up for it. And hey, he's getting good results with the Ozempic. Like just
Is he?
put
That makes
yeah.
me happy.
He
I
he
mean,
has lost a lot of weight recently. I noticed. Maybe just down to good, honest, hard work. Who knows?
yeah,
But I always suspect with celebrities, and it's normal.
yeah.
Um,
I'm waiting for round two of him playing Zeus because he was the highlight of Love and Thunder, Thor: Love and Thunder.
well, I mean, this feels um, weird to say, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing him play Göring
Oh,
in
and
the
is he is?
in
I had no idea such a movie was coming out.
the Nuremberg movie is coming out in November.
Oh, okay,
And
interesting.
because I'm a sick individual,
Didn't we have it? There's been a few Nuremberg movies before. And
this is like really star-studded. I mean, I don't really care necessarily about that kind of thing, but Russell Crowe being part of it certainly piqued my interest. And obviously, I mean, I'm all about punishing actual Nazis in the strictest terms
sure.
possible. So I look forward to seeing it.
Oh, when's it come out? Because I mean, it's
I think
this year.
November 11th, 10th,
Okay.
11th, something like that, or maybe 13th, but
Director is someone
somewhere
I've never
around there.
heard of before. James Vanderbilt.
Rami Malek is there
Yeah.
as well. Russell Crowe. There are a few more heavyweights.
So he's only directed one movie before. Truth.
John Slattery is Michael Shannon. Who else? Leo Woodall, who is younger but up and coming.
This must be like relatively low budget box office poison.
We'll see. We'll see. I know they filmed in Hungary, so I'm sure that was part of the consideration. So
Yeah.
not exactly low budget, maybe, but certainly not like
Yeah.
not something where they had loosened the purse strings either.
Yeah. I'm not criticizing. I'm not saying just because I'm just trying to understand the scope. Like, this probably might not be on like every theater in the country, and who knows how long of a run it gets.
Oh no, I
Just
think that
set
it will get a full
expectations.
release. It will get a full
Yeah.
release, full
Okay.
theatrical release. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. Again, look, the funny thing is, it it may or may not be box office poison, but for better or worse, for the award shows, um, the
Yeah.
historical
This is
historical
award.
stuff, the biopic
Yeah.
genre is like it's like surefire awards almost, like at least
Yeah, yeah.
nominations. So
This is the kind of thing where it usually pops up where an actor like they want to like get into that sort of award uh, area again. Like maybe that'll help their career. So the key word that they want to throw out there, have the critics throw out there is unrecognizable. You know what I mean? That no doubt you will see lots of reviews coming out or previews coming out saying Russell Crowe is unrecognizable as like a
You
Gareth,
have,
like
yeah,
the
you,
goal and like The Rock, like in that
you
new
pinpointed
MMA
that. Yeah,
movie is like unrecognizable. Dwayne Johnson unrecognizable. It's like oh, here we go.
that's also,
Towards
you know, like with Dwayne Johnson, I I appreciate that he's getting his break. You know, I am rooting for him. I love him,
yes, I do too.
but I hate the fact that it's expressed in that way because it's really bigotry of low expectations. You know, like, oh, the big guy can actually act. No shit. You know, if he has some talent and it puts the work in for so many years now, like he has been an actor for
Mhm.
what, almost 2 decades by now. Of course
Well,
he
I
can act.
mean,
He's being paid for it.
WWE is acting as well. You know,
That's
promos. You play
true.
a
That's
character
true.
for
I mean, cheap
hours at a
acting.
time.
I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of the genre, but he has been very good. He
Yeah,
has been
he's
very
had
good
to act for a
as
very
an
long time.
actor. You're right. I have to, not very lightly, and it hurts me, but I have to concede that point. That's acting too. You're right. They're wearing Daytonas, by the way. Uh,
Oh,
Brittany is wearing
she's
a Daytona
got the
too,
nice
which
one.
I
She's got
saw
the deporter
later.
in chief model. No, I don't. What's the one? So I think Christy Gnome has the Pikachu, but the full black uh, golden
Hmm.
dial. I have the sort of the Zenith era rings. This is the opposite of that. And then I think apart from the John Mayer, that's it. I think there's the four dials. I think right. Oh wait, matte black with gold
Hmm.
subdials for the JPS special.
Ooh, this is this was one of my favorites in recent time. It was I also loved it. You know, obviously he's gonna wear Rolex because it's Jackie Stewart, but it was at a Cartier event. So it's
Oh,
like
can barely hear me. Is that
I
I
will
can
raise
adjust it.
your voice. We are at the same level, but I will raise yours.
Uh huh. Yeah, microphones aren't going to be the same.
I feel like you are also, I don't know. Is it the maturity or whatever? You have become more soft spoken, us.
Well, the kids are in bed.
That's it. It's
A
just
little better.
being a young father.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. The yellow gold Le Mans is so beautiful. Um, I've never even asked.
Yeah, I mean it is really the best of the lot, I have to say. I mean, yes, I appreciate the idea of the white metal being kind of more subtle. Um, I usually like pink gold better than yellow gold, but
Mm.
for a special Rolex, it kind of has to be yellow gold. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too much of a child of Archie luxury, but it's like that is a fuck you watch. It has to
Well,
be
I
full
mean, it
gold.
relies so much on black. Yellow
Yeah.
gold is such a great combo for black. It's just such a popping combo. I mean, you see it on the two tones with like the Submariner black and yellow, and the new GMT is black and yellow. It's just such a classic.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
it's
my
just.
wife chose her Daytona based on the contrast of black and the gold, even though
I,
it's
I
rose
was
gold.
just gonna say. I mean, it's like with yellow gold, it's both a great contrast, but there's also enough warmth to make that not too wild of a contrast. I think that's why it meshes so well.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I wish, I really wish that they just put real volume meters in StreamYard. This three dot thing is pointless.
Um, can you change your own mic settings?
I can, but I can't really tell if I'm getting close to clipping or not. Basically,
I see.
yeah, I can't really tell. Not with what StreamYard gives me. I can take a quick look, but I don't know why. Anything that takes any kind of microphone input, just put a real volume meter in there.
Right. Rather
Oh,
than just the three dots, as you said. Right.
yeah. Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2. Geez, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be
We
clocking it
also
this
don't
long.
know because, like, the chat is so sporadic, right? That people might write something to alert us, and then they don't follow up necessarily. So,
Yeah,
by
but
the way, guys, please hit the like button. I'm still waiting for that, one super chat maybe to uh, extend, but otherwise we might call it in another 15 minutes. So if you have any questions, any comments that you want me to read, that you want us to discuss, please send them with a super chat. Otherwise, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. If you have followed the link from Instagram, especially, or maybe even Twitter. I'm pretty mindful of posting these things these days. Stay subscribed. I have this kind of content every day, at least in the form of a live stream. But I'm gonna be more mindful and more studious in terms of posting at least clips from live streams with condensed topics, so we gain some other traction. But until then, it would be much appreciated if you would share the link with fellow watch collectors and other watch enthusiasts. And if you would follow me also on Instagram, if you don't already, that's also much appreciated. I'm trying to reach 3K here, 25K there. Anything you can do to help me reach that goal, I'll be very grateful for it.
I tell you what is interesting. I don't see as many celebrities wearing the steel Daytonas, the new ones.
Hmm.
Like it just seems more common that they're wearing gold.
That can have a couple of different reasons. One, I think gold watches, yeah, gold Rolexes especially, are not, and this is both good and bad. They don't hit as hard anymore, right? So they have become more common.
Mm-hmm.
It's more well, not only acceptable, but it's more a normal thing now that you would go out and get a gold Daytona rather than stainless steel. It's
Mm-hmm.
not something you are not you are not doing an AD a favor by getting a gold watch off their hands. That's that's the least you can say.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing I think is that people are pushed towards it, right? When you talk to a sales associate these days, if you just pretend like you don't know much, if
Mm-hmm.
it's your first visit, they push you towards two-tone at least,
Mm-hmm.
but usually gold watches because they make more money per unit,
Mm-hmm.
both ADs and Rolex. So there's an there's a rehearsed policy. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
there's an internalized policy of upselling
Mm-hmm. For sure.
to the customer. Um, the third one is, again, like, it's just, I think, with the previous generation, the hype reached such a fever pitch that people who are celebrities and who actually care a little bit about what they wear, they just don't want to seem too much like us mortals, right? They
Mm-hmm.
want something special. Like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone else can have stainless steel, I will have the platinum, or I will have
Mm-hmm.
um, the gold, I will have the oyster flex, etc. Like, because I'm an athlete, and so there are
Yeah,
different ways of justifying it.
it's actually something we yeah, Morty, yeah, we do. It's actually something we touched upon last night with that gentleman's super chat saying that if you've got $250,000,
Mm.
if it's completely, it makes the steel lineup completely irrelevant, and for sure we're talking about celebrities and who knows whether or not
Right.
they're, the watch is made available to them in precious metals without paying full, but for sure most of them can pay full and more. So I mean, if at the point at which you say you got a quarter of $1 million to spend, the steel watches are completely irrelevant because you could have all of them for under $120,000. Now, sure, getting access to them is going to be difficult, but we're talking about what a celebrity's wearing, not
Yeah.
how would you get all of the steels.
You know, that's the funny thing also, because I mean, literally, that it seems like, for us to do that kind of exercise on this channel in response to Patek Chris's super chat, um, it's still a big budget, but what can get you so much, even in precious metal, in Rolex, right? I could build basically a platinum collection between platinum Daytona, platinum Day-Date, platinum Land Dweller, um, where platinum 1908 perpetual. Whereas, like, if you go to Richard Mille as a celebrity again, that $250,000 will get you one watch,
Yeah.
right? With Rolex, you can build a platinum collection,
Yeah.
right? A 4-piece
Yeah,
real
that's true.
collection.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Or you can get the entire catalog in steel with, like, a couple of precious metal pieces on top. With Richard
Well, a
Mille,
lot of precious metal pieces on top. Because if you didn't go
yeah,
platinum, I think you could get all of them in gold in a $250,000 budget. Close to, because there aren't that many gold pieces. You get yourself a Day-Date. Now you can get yourself a Land Dweller. 1908 is, yeah, that's a given, but that's not that expensive. I think it's like low 20s for a gold. Daytona, so 4, so it's probably like $200,000, and you got most of the steel in there. You don't have to sacrifice much. If you said, I want gold too, I want it all. It's like total budget might be 300,000.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, in another brand, it can, get you a watch,
Yeah.
right? So it's a very different different scale, very different kind of approach. Again, you can build a respectable neo vintage collection, for example, of like amazing pieces like this, let's say, right? But again, or you can go to Richard Mille or AP and get one or two like hyper
Yeah.
watches, and you're done. Like in AP, for example, if you have the access, uh, you can get a Royal Oak Tourbillon, and and a jumbo, and maybe another third piece, etc. You're already at 200.
Yeah. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Or you get the sand gold perpetual calendar Royal Oak. That's already $250,000. That done. That's your budget. So it's
Completely different ball game.
well, we have basically answered that question. I think
Yeah.
that it's not, it doesn't blow enough money.
Right.
to get
It's funny.
stainless steel.
Despite everything getting more expensive, I don't know if it's from my perspective. It feels like the Rolexes are relatively cheap in the market and the comparables. I think it's relatively cheap, especially if we're just talking MSRP. We're always just talking MSRP. It's really quite interesting. So I mean, I'm thinking about, like, for example, when Keanu Reeves gave some of his crew or whomever it was, I can't remember, who was specified, but he gave everyone a Submariner, and that's really, really cool. But now it's like, I don't know, I feel like the Submariner really does feel like a toy. Like, as in, it's like, yeah, you can just throw them around. They're like candy.
Yeah, sure. I mean, also, that I think recently there was a discussion with an airline pilot, I think from Qatar Airlines it was, getting an Omega Constellation as a like 20-year service gift, and some people were saying like, oh, they're being cheap, and others were saying like, it's the thought that counts, etc. And ultimately, it really depends on your perspective, and I don't take seriously how people respond to these things online anyways. But uh, I remember from one of the Ed Sheeran tours, there was a limited edition of, um, I think it was Tudor Black Bay 58s with the divide symbol,
Yes.
that he gave to
The
the crew
tour.
of
Yeah.
the touring band, and that, to me, that's like, what a precious gift and what a beautiful thought. But obviously, if you think about the kind of money someone like Ed Sheeran, like, a real pop rock star like Ed Sheeran is making, that's just chump change. That doesn't matter if it's a whole 100-piece run of Tudor. It doesn't really matter. He could pay, but I guess that doesn't necessarily take away from
No.
both the emotional weight, but also, like the horological value of some of these watches as well. It's just a different, at some point, it's really all marketing. It's just a different price segment. Doesn't make it a better watch just because it's more expensive.
Yeah. I mean, reportedly, most successful tour of all time until Swift.
That's true. And what did Taylor Swift give to the crew?
Finger wagging. Always vote blue. There was a narrative back before she made her politics like completely exposed, that she might have secretly actually been on 4chan, a regular 4chan person, and potentially low key right wing.
Really? I would never imagine, actually. I would never imagine.
There's some plausible documentaries on it on YouTube showing
I
like
see.
the evidence of certain posts and things and stuff, but clearly that was never the case. Like she's like diehard Hillary Clinton supporter. Up to you, but I mean like the room read into her politics really badly on that one. She did a lot to cover it up for a long time, I'm guessing.
It's I mean,
Oh,
I
there's
have,
my enemy, Mark.
yeah, it's
And not to be too clear about things, but I wasn't that wrong about saying that he's my opposition.
yeah, ultimately, I mean, if you have the same AD, and you know you're a star to us, Oz. I mean, no offense, but Mark
But
Wahlberg
but
has
I've made it
a
clear
little
to
more weight, I
I've
think.
made it clear to all the staff at Rolex. I've seen him wear non-Rolex watches like this, whatever this garbage is,
That we
and so like, do
This
not.
is Norcane, yeah, the wild one.
Wow, he's wearing a Norcane.
Yeah,
Wow, he'll wear
yeah.
anything.
It's a skeleton wild one 39. It's their new case size in hyper pink, and it's kind of matching
Yeah, I think he
his
just
own
wears
merch.
anything pink, unfortunately. But uh, yeah.
This was the fight, the Netflix Canelo Pat Crawford fight.
Okay. That was a couple weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah, September 13. Yeah, exactly a couple of weeks ago.
He lives in my neighborhood.
Amazing.
Yeah. But by neighborhood, I mean it was like if someone lives in Beverly Hills, they also live in Beverly Hills, but not literally my gate community.
Yeah, and again, like that I spend a lot of time in Beverly Hills, and there's a very strict hierarchy. I can tell you that. Like people who live, in the real Beverly Hills, like the
Right.
9210 kind of thing, really do look down upon everyone else.
Yeah.
But that kind of disdain might for others might be even kind of upside down in a way. Like, the more they find themselves on the lower rungs of that ladder, the more they hate everyone else.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting town. I mean, it's really its own town, by the way, Beverly Hills. It has been. So it certainly has different dynamics than the rest of LA County, and some of which I deeply appreciate, some of which, are very puzzling and sometimes irritating to me.
I did see a list of America's richest neighborhoods, and I learned that Beverly Hills isn't number one.
No,
There's another community in Los Angeles that is much higher.
you would probably that's probably in Orange
Ather-
County.
no, is it Atherton or is that in Orange County? Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. It was very interesting. Like, I'd never heard of this place before, but then a few of the other people who I shared it to was like, "Oh no, I live there." I was like, "Okay, that's nice."
I haven't followed these things, but yeah, let me know.
Still looking.
We have the body again.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've nicknamed mine the L, but clearly I don't have this dial, which is now retrospectively, I guess, retroactively a Pikachu. But
I mean, or lemon Paul Newman. You can say, I guess. But yeah, I mean, she has had this piece for a while.
forever.
But
Yeah,
man, she has aura, certainly.
yeah, 100%.
This is apparently how she pulled up to the last Eric Clapton concert at MSG. So
So yeah, Atherton, California.
I haven't
Oh
been.
no, that's in Bay Area. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think that's not.
yeah. So
Hmm.
for LA, it is Beverly Hills.
It is. I would still think it's somewhere in the Orange County, like Newport Beach or something like that, but maybe not.
No, no, yeah. So it's Atherton. In New York, it's Sagaponack. Beverly Hills, Tribeca, Fisher Island, Florida, Greenwich, Connecticut, Los Altos Hills. I guess that's Bay Area. Trying to find the next California. Pacific Palisades,
Yeah,
Newport Coast,
that was hit.
20th and 21st.
That was hit pretty bad, of course, by the fires.
But my neighborhood doesn't pop up here. I mean, quite frankly, Las Vegas is affordable,
Yeah, yeah.
so
I mean that.
it's not going to show up here.
I think the tax situation was at least in part why Wahlberg moved there.
Yeah. Although comparing his home from his Beverly Hills home to his Las Vegas home, I feel like he actually had better value from his Beverly Hills home. Like, his Beverly Hills home did cost like twice as much, but I think it was more than twice as large. I mean, he had like a little 3-hole par 3 golf course on his Beverly Hills home. I mean, he doesn't have that in Las Vegas, as best as I can tell. Las Vegas, you don't get much land.
Probably, because he got it quite,
Early.
early. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a big fan of his. I was very envious of Mark Wahlberg's home Beverly Hills when I first saw it. Like, just having the golf, like, just yeah,
That's
you can
right.
actually hit onto a golf course. I was like, that's pretty nuts.
You actually like golf as well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, he's a big golf fan, and so am I. So Yeah, I'm very envious. So he initially listed his property for 87.5 million in 2022, but had to reduce it down to 79
Hmm.
by November. Reductions. The property was previously on the market for 30 million in 2015 before being sold for 12.4 in 2018. So I think he picked it up for 12.4. So that's the number that I had in my head, that his property was worth 12.4 in Beverly Hills, and it was sprawling. And then I think the property in Las Vegas is about 6 or 7 million, and it's beautiful, but it isn't sprawling
Hmm.
and outrageous like his Beverly Hills place was. So his Beverly Hills place now is worth 80 million. That's crazy. So I wasn't wrong. I was like, this seems like a lot of value here for 12.5. Okay, yeah, you moved down to 6.5, but there's far less than half here. So yeah, he's obviously downscaled, even though I have no doubt that he is richer than he's ever been. I
Of
guess it's
course.
just a lifestyle choice.
Well, I mean, I think still on what he earns, he would have probably paid more tax in Southern California compared to
Mm.
Vegas. No.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But who knows? I mean, at his level, there's all sorts of funny wheelie dealing you can always do potentially. But I mean, who knows? I mean, producer Michael moved out here to Las Vegas last year, and he says the tax benefits alone were more than enough to make it worthwhile, and that and property tax, he said.
Mhm.
So I mean, yeah, property tax, that's very hard to avoid. It's impossible to avoid. So yeah, maybe his Beverly Hills home was costing what 10 million a year in property tax. Who knows? No, would it be that much? Like 89 million home?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
I'm so
maybe.
far from being a homeowner in this country, so I have no idea how those things work.
Archie really tries to skewer me on not owning a home. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
need to. I don't need to do that. I'm not going to get richer than boomers by giving them the bag.
Well, that's part of the justification. I think you're absolutely right. All right. Well, let's wrap up because I don't think there's any activity in the chat, any special requests, anything
Mm.
that we can respond to. Thank you for jumping on. I'm so glad that we could talk a little bit about your new acquisition, which goes to Mrs. Expat's collection, of course,
Yes.
the Land Dweller 36.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know if I need to like do a recalc. Is her collection worth more than mine again? I don't know. It just keeps bloody leapfrogging.
I'm glad I planted that seed.
I got the
Go
Pepsi
ahead.
earlier this year.
Right. We're looking at market value, of course, right? Not retail.
Yeah, yeah, market value. Um, let's see here. That both of
As this
those.
gives you a chance to show your support, hit the like button at the very least. But if you have any contributions for what remains an independent platform, I don't have agents, other forms of capital, or the industry behind me. I work on my own and depend on the generosity, like uh, people like Oz jumping on the panel, others contributing in other ways, sending in super chats, other kinds of contributions.
What the
To
fuck?
she beat you to it, right?
Yeah, by a lot.
By how much exactly?
A lot. It's a lot.
Well,
It's a lot. I'm
tell
doing I'm doing the Archie thing wrong. Like if you're preparing for divorce, you want to load up some on some watches, but it doesn't make any sense if the wife got the bulk of the value. This is insane.
Well, I mean, she will get that and half of what you have, so it's gonna be great.
Yeah, so hers is like 160.
Uh-huh.
Mine is a paltry 122. What the fuck?
I told you she has a better collection. We have already
But you
settled
said
it.
objectively it's better.
We have already settled it on the objective basis, but I assure you it will be on the subjective basis too. I assure you it's gonna be better liked by your own audience, which is
Oh dear.
100% male, by the way. I like to
Yeah, the
remind you.
100% male audience will vote for the women's collection.
Exactly.
Can't wait. Can't wait. I can't believe it's that far out of whack. That is a lot. I thought I was the degenerate.
I love it. I love it.
I
You
thought
weren't
I was the
even
one that was the problem.
well. I mean, essentially, you still are because you probably, you know,
Encouraged it. Yeah, I didn't
yeah,
realize.
yeah. You started it.
Hmm.
You opened the path for her as well. So
Yeah,
you deserve at least some of the blame on that account as well. So
yeah. Cool. Okay.
all right.
Well, everyone
Well,
like, thumbs up.
we are jumping off. So please hit the like button. Subscribe if you are coming from Instagram or Twitter for these kinds of live streams and other watch related content. This is the place to be. Uh, Inversely, of course, please do follow me on Instagram. I have very interesting content that delves into historical and horological detail on a daily basis. In fact, twice daily. Um, so I dropped the link there as well. Of course, you should most certainly follow Aussie's channel, Aussie Expat Watches, at Aussie Expat Watches on Instagram. And obviously, you can post the link. Feel free to join us on his Discord as well, where we have all kinds of discussions behind the scenes. So if you are wondering about what's going on behind the scenes, that's a great great way to stay connected, stay in touch, and stay engaged. Otherwise, Oz, if you have anything to add.
No, been great set of evenings, and to many more once I'm retired.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this, man. I'm like, I don't count on it. I don't take it for granted. But as always, it's much better to have someone, especially someone at your level, to be able to discuss these things. Otherwise, like, it takes more effort at the very least. Uh, it takes more effort to produce something probably less engaging when you are completely on your own. So I appreciate it.
Cool.
All right. Stay safe, stay healthy, wear and enjoy your watches. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.